The Royal Court of Denmark releases 3 new portraits of the new King and Queen of Denmark. Hereditary Prince Palais of Liechtenstein presides over the state opening of Parliament in Vaduz. The Duchess of Edinburgh visits a Walton charity in Elmbridge. And the Grand Ducal family of Luxembourg hosts a glittering New Year reception in Luxembourg City. All this and much more coming up next on your Royal Daily News. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Alexandra, and welcome to your Royal Daily News for Friday, January 19th, 2024. Last evening in Luxembourg City, Their Royal Highnesses Grand Duke Henri and Grand Duchess Maria Theresa of Luxembourg, Their Royal Highnesses Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume and Hereditary Grand Duchess Stephanie of Luxembourg, His Royal Highness Prince Louis of Luxembourg, and Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra of Luxembourg, and her husband, Mr. Nicholas Baggery, hosted the traditional New Year reception at the Palais Grand Ducal. The reception was held for the President and members of the Office of the Chamber of Deputies, members of the government, the Council of State, the Diplomatic Corps, faith leaders, and representatives from various European institutions. On Thursday afternoon, Grand Duke Henri and Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg, accompanied by the Prime Minister of Luxembourg, Mr. Luc Frieden, attended the inauguration of the solar cells factory in Luxembourg, Hollerich. According to the Creux Grand Ducal, Solar Cells Factory is the first producer of photovoltaic panels in Luxembourg. The company manufactures, quote, high-quality panels using European components certified with IEC standards, offering yields exceeding 400 wattage. Our range includes the performance version and design, full black version, suitable for both residential and commercial needs, thus contributing to sustainable solar energy in Luxembourg. End quote. After the inauguration, Their Royal Highnesses were given a guided tour of the production plant by the President of Solar Cells, Mr. Michel Thain. Earlier this week, Her Majesty Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, in her capacity as the United Nations Secretary-General's Special Advocate for Inclusive Finance for Development, UNSGSA, participated in several events during the 54th edition of the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. As UNSGSA, the Queen is a Global Agenda Trustee for the World Economic Forum's Global Challenge Initiative on the future of the global financial system. On Thursday, the Queen participated in the WEF Agenda panel session entitled Comparing Notes on Financial Inclusion. The description for the session reads as follows, quote, experimentation and creativity are critical to increasing access to and use of financial services for individuals and small businesses, particularly in emerging markets where the financial inclusion gap is greatest. Drawing on examples of local pilots that have made a tangible difference to communities in different parts of the world, how can we leverage these successes at a time when resilience to economic crises is dangerously low? End quote. Before the panel session, the Queen held a series of bilateral meetings with world leaders and decision-makers, including the Kingdom of Bahrain's Minister of Finance, His Excellency Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa of Bahrain. On Wednesday, the Queen participated in a roundtable discussion entitled Financial Health, Key to Empowerment and Sustainable Development, alongside the CEO of MasterCard, Mr. Michael Miebach. Thereafter, the Queen held a series of meetings with world leaders, including the President of Colombia, Mr. Gustavo Petro, and the new President of the Argentine Republic, Mr. Javier Milei, to name a few. I love his hair. On Wednesday, Her Majesty Queen Mathilde of the Belgians held a meeting with social innovators from the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship during the 54th edition of the WEF. According to the Belgian Royal Court, discussions focused on, quote, young people, education and sport, mental well-being, digital health, financial inclusion, and the circular economy. The Queen also chaired a roundtable meeting attended by several international experts, namely doctors, including Dr. Ian Hickey and Dr. Laura Ospina. The discussion focused on the mental well-being of young people, the impact of social networks, and the ethical use of artificial intelligence in the field of mental health. End quote. This afternoon, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Edinburgh, visited the Walton Charity in Elmbridge. According to Buckingham Palace, the Walton Charity is a, quote, local charitable foundation supporting people in Elmbridge who are experiencing financial hardship. The charity works with local partners and the community to tackle issues of poverty and inequality, homelessness, and isolation in our local area. End quote. On Thursday in Aberdeen, Her Majesty Queen Camilla of the United Kingdom opened a new safe space at the Aberdeen Art Gallery. Safe Space provides assistance and support to people who are personally suffering or suspect someone may be living with domestic abuse. According to Buckingham Palace, the new safe space at the gallery will, quote, be staffed by people who have received additional training on mental health awareness and domestic abuse. It will be an area that can be used to seek help or simply to reflect and remember. During the visit, in the Art of Empowerment Gallery, the Queen met the team who had been trained to obtain the venue's safe space status. In Gallery 8, Her Majesty met artist Sheila Swanson, who has created artwork inspired by her journey as a survivor of domestic abuse. The art is visible both internally and externally to signify the venue as a safe space location. The art gallery is open to the public 7 days a week and is free to enter. End quote. In Madrid, His Majesty King Felipe VI of Spain presided over the swearing-in ceremony of the new State Attorney General, Mr. Alvaro Garcia Ortiz, at Palacio de la Zarzuela. The Prime Minister of Spain, Mr. Pedro Sánchez Pérez Castejón, and the President of the Constitutional Court, Mr. Candido Conde Pombido, also attended this morning's ceremony. In Tokyo, Their Imperial Majesties, Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako of Japan, attended the Yudokai Hajime ceremony, also known as the Imperial New Year's Poetry Reading at the Imperial Palace. Also attending this morning's ceremony were Their Imperial Highnesses Crown Prince Akishino and Crown Princess Kiko of Japan, Her Imperial Highness Princess Kako of Akishino, Her Imperial Highness Princess Akiko of Mikasa, Her Imperial Highness Princess Hisako of Takamoto, and Her Imperial Highness Princess Saguko of Takamoto. His Serene Highness Hereditary Prince Alois of Liechtenstein presided over the state opening of Parliament in Vaduz this morning, thus marking the start of the fourth and final year of the legislature. The day began with Mass at Vaduz Cathedral, with Bishop Benno Elbs presiding, and music from the church choir of St. Florian Vaduz. At 10 a.m., the hereditary prince and members of the government arrived at the Parliament building for the opening session of the state parliament. During the opening, the hereditary prince gave his 20th speech from the throne in the plenary hall. This was followed by a speech from the President of Parliament, Albert Frick. After the opening, the hereditary prince and members of the government attended a reception on the occasion of the state opening of Parliament. On Thursday, the hereditary prince attended the World Economic Forum's agenda session entitled Debunking Myths on Carbon Pricing. Also on Thursday, Her Royal Highness Hereditary Princess Sophie of Liechtenstein, as president of the Liechtenstein Red Cross, held an audience with the president of the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, Ms. Mariana Egger, and the Principality of Liechtenstein's government counselor, Ms. Dominique Hassler, at Schloss Vaduz. His Royal Highness Crown Prince Haakon of Norway visited the police's National Preparedness Center just outside the city center of Oslo. According to the Royal Court of Norway, the police's National Preparedness Center aims to, quote, facilitate the prevention, averting and handling of extraordinary incidents and crises, and to create security for the population." End quote. Meanwhile, in Stockholm, Their Majesties King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia of Sweden held a meeting with representatives of the Swedish Olympic Committee at the Royal Palace. According to the Royal Court of Sweden, during the meeting, Their Majesties were informed about the upcoming Olympic Games in Paris, France. Also on Thursday, His Royal Highness Prince Carl Philip of Sweden presided over the presentation of scholarships from the Prince Bertil and Princess Lilian Sports Foundation at the Royal Palace. According to the Royal Court of Sweden, the purpose of the Prince Bertil and Princess Lilian Sports Foundation is to promote Swedish sports through scholarships for leaders and instructors for further education. In Copenhagen, the Royal Court of Denmark released 3 official portraits of Their Majesties King Frederik X and Queen Mary of Denmark. The images were taken by photographer Mr. Dennis Stenild in the throne room at Christiansborg Slot a few moments after the King's proclamation on Sunday, January 14, 2024. The second image shows Their Majesties with the heir to the Danish throne, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Christian of Denmark. In the final image, Their Majesties are photographed alongside their children, Crown Prince Christian, Princess Isabella, Prince Vincent, and Princess Josephine of Denmark. On Thursday, it was announced that TV2 Denmark and SAM Productions are currently in pre-production for the upcoming fictional series about Queen Margrethe with the working title By the Grace of God. The series was in development long before the Queen announced that she was abdicating the throne in favor of her son, King Frederik X. In a press release from Ritzau, it notes that the series begins in 1940 and will, quote, depict the royal family for better or for worse, on the hard floors and in the political dilemmas. But above all, it is a story about a girl and her family, end quote. TV2 senior executive producer Ms. Pernille Christensen said that she hopes that the series can contribute to a greater understanding of the importance of the royal house for, quote, who we are as Danes and how the societal development has spread in both ways. By the Grace of God is a story of a family, of an institution, and of an anachronism that struggles to maintain its relevance in the modern age. The royal house is something that all Danes share, regardless of whether you are a supporter, an opponent, or just somewhere in between. End quote. Filming for By the Grace of God will begin in 2025. Casting will begin in the next few weeks. This sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to watching this. Hopefully, it will be better than that other show, The Crown. And finally, His Royal Highness Prince Ludwig of Bavaria attended the 800th anniversary celebrations of the founding of the city of Landau in Lower Bavaria. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. I will be back on Sunday, January 21st, with all the latest royal news. Until then, I sincerely wish each and every one of you a wonderful weekend. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Okay, again, have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I will see you all on Sunday. Take care.